Hey guys, this is Paul and Angel over at Power Window Repair. We are going to show you how to remove and reinstall the hydraulic rams on a Porsche 911. This is a 996. The 997 version is almost identical to it. You can use this as a guide for that. What you generally need to do is get the convertible top in a service position. This is called the service position for the convertible top. Your convertible top may not be working fully if all the fluid has leaked out of the hydraulic ram, but you can basically just get it to unlatch, and once it starts to move, you can help it back into this position. This guy here that has the window will be down in this area down here. What we need to do to disconnect it is you reach in underneath. You can kind of reach in under the spoiler and disconnect this little guy from the stud that's just down here. You'll see that in a second. Lift the glass up and out of the way. Next, what you want to do is remove the carpet. There are 4 little plastic studs. You can just lever them out and literally work the carpet out all the way around and lift it out like this. There you go, Angel. I'll take that if you don't mind. That reveals all the hydraulic system that runs the convertible top. What we're going to be doing next is removing these 2. We have everything in a little Ziploc. Definitely a good best practice to keep all your parts in a little Ziploc. But these, they basically connect to the hydraulic pump right there with the hydraulic lines. There's 2 sets of hydraulic lines. You'll notice blue and red. So one of these holds the 2 blue hydraulic lines, and one of these holds the 2 red hydraulic lines. You can see I put an R on that side of the pump. Either take a picture of the pump or mark it like that is a good practice, because when you put the hydraulic lines back in, you'll need to know which side they go on. Once the hydraulic lines are disconnected like this, you can literally pull them through and get them out. To remove the hydraulic rams, it's actually a pretty simple process. There's 2 nuts, and these are 13 millimeter nuts. One for the rear of the hydraulic ram that you can see here, and one fits on the front of the hydraulic ram. The rear nut is obviously the easiest to remove, and the front one you just kind of have to reach in here with a wrench and loosen it up. Once the nuts come off, you basically just grab the body of the ram. You can see the body of the ram there. We'll show you a still picture of it too. And you pull it away from the side of the vehicle. So this is a good shot of the hydraulic ram. We've removed the 2 nuts that hold the ram in place. This is the rear one, and then right up there is the front nut. That needs to come out. And the next thing is this little black arm here. There's a little gold clip. We have to remove that metal clip. You do that with a little screwdriver or a pick. Once that metal clip comes off, then we can swing this arm out of the way and then remove the hydraulic ram. As you can see, I've got them both here in my hands. They're little spring clips, and we're taking those from this stud and this stud right there that attaches to the hydraulic ram, and I'm taking this tiny little arm all the way off. As you can see, I'm just kind of pulling it out right there. There it is. So as you can see, it comes out like this, and then this is the upside. So I'm going to put a little Sharpie mark on here with an arrow pointing up, or I can even write up on it, or both. There's my little arrow, and I'm just going to put up right there. That's good enough. And we're going to put that in our little Ziploc bag. Okay, now that the arm is off, we're going to reach in here and pull the hydraulic ram out. There is a little clip right there that holds the hydraulic tube. You want to disconnect that too. And then I'm going to reach in here and pull the hydraulic ram away from the body of the car. So you can see the hydraulic ram is now loose. It's laying in there. There is a stud that connects with a plastic sensor, and you want to make sure that when you pull the ram away from the body of the car, you do not catch that stud on the plastic sensor. You don't want to break that plastic sensor. That's the sensor that tells the computer exactly what position the convertible top is in. If you break that sensor, it is a pain to replace, and they're not cheap. So just really keep an eye on that. This is the only side that has that sensor. The other side does not. So you don't have to be quite as careful on the other side. Okay, once the ram is laying in this position, I can just literally reach in. You've got all the hoses unclipped. I can reach in, and I want to keep it away from the body of the car, which is the left side, and I want to pull it out. Now, there's a weep hose to let any water escape. So I'm now going to remove the ram from the bay that it's sitting in, and you can see it coming out. As you can see, I'm keeping this stud here away from the sensor, and as you can see, the ram is now coming out, and I'm going to remove the hoses from this area. And this is the stud that connects to the sensor. The sensor that I'm talking about, the flashlight is on the sensor right there, and you do not want to break that. And if you look a little bit further forwards, you can actually see the mess that the hydraulic fluid has left, the wet area down there. I don't know if you can see in there, but it's kind of wet at the very front of that plastic area. That's all the hydraulic fluid that's leaked out. So there's a silver clip all the way towards the front there that the hose is wrapped in or stuck in. So I have to reach in, get the hose out of that clip, and then remove the hydraulic ram completely. All right, so now this ram is going to come out. There it is, all in one piece. This does have a stud here, but that stud is not attached to the sensor, which is like the sensor on the driver side. The passenger side does not have a sensor, so you don't have to be quite as careful with this ram. So on this ram, we did not remove this little arm on the passenger side. Now, if you're going to send these rams to us, we don't need this. So you probably want to keep that at home. But because we're doing the job here, I'm just going to leave it on here, rebuild the ram, and we're going to reinstall it with this piece on. But if you're going to send the rams to us, we do not need this guy. All right, when it comes to installing the driver side ram, we got to make sure that this stud here is received into the sensor arm. That sensor tells the top exactly what position it is. The sensor arm is, it's like a plastic loop, and because it's plastic, you got to make sure you don't break it. So this is the more difficult of the two rams to install, and you don't want to force this at all whatsoever. I don't know if you can see, but right now, I pretty much have the ram in place, but the sensor arm and the stud have not located. So now I'm going to adjust it, and basically the way to do that is to pull the ram away from the body of the car just a tiny little bit, and reach in and either push the ram forwards a little bit to meet the sensor arm, or reach in and pull the sensor arm back a tiny little bit. So I'm actually going to do a little bit of both here. So now I have the two lined up. I'm going to just jiggle the ram a little bit, and there it is. I don't know if you can see. Might have to zoom in on that, but you can see the stud is right smack in the middle of the loop of the sensor arm. So not difficult to do, just you got to be very careful with it, that's all. Okay, so now that the ram is back in place, I'm going to go ahead and install the nuts onto the front stud of the ram, and then the rear stud of the ram. And then remember this little arm? I have my little up arrow. That's going to go in this position right here, and I'm going to put the two spring clips on. So we're going to go ahead and install the hydraulic ram
banjo bolts.
Banjo bolts?
Banjo.
Oh, that's a banjo bolt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, boing, boing, boing,
yeah,
boing,
exactly like that. Exactly.
You like that? All right, banjo bolts. That's what they're called. Thanks, Angel.
Yeah,
I didn't know that's what they were called.
Yeah.
We're going to install the banjo bolts. Now, we actually mostly reuse the crush washers. Generally, you'll find that they're good. There is a crush washer kit that Porsche sells. We'll give you the part number in the description down there, or on a little pop-up on the screen if you want to buy new crush washers. Every so often we need to replace them, but generally we reuse the old ones. So what you're going to do is you're going to have a thin crush washer go on first, then one of the lines, then another crush washer, then the next line, and then finally it's the thick crush washer that goes at the end. So make sure when you're doing this, if you're doing the red side, that you're putting a red line with a red line. It doesn't matter which goes first. That doesn't matter at all. The pressure is equalized as the hydraulic fluid goes through the banjo bolt. So there you go. You got crush washer, one line to one ram, another crush washer, the second line to the other ram, and then the thick crush washer. Line them up with the red hole. We've got an R there that designates red, and then go ahead and hand tighten it first. You want to hand tighten this because you want to make sure you never cross thread this. If you cross thread this, you are in serious trouble. If you cross thread this, do not call us, call God.
Oh my God. Oh man. Yeah, it's bad.
Here we go. We're going to do the blue side.
Second one, always a little bit more of a struggle.
Second one's a little bit more of a struggle. The first one takes up a little bit of room, but you've got your banjo bolt, crush washer, hydraulic line to your first ram. Doesn't matter which one. We're going with the driver's side one first. I think actually because it makes a little bit more sense the way the lines crisscross under there. So you've got banjo bolt, crush washer, first line, second crush washer, second line, and then third crush washer is the fat one. Again, go ahead and install these banjo bolts by hand first. Do not, whatever you do, put a wrench on it. You do not want to cross thread this. If you cross thread this, you're probably going to have to replace your hydraulic pump.
Yeah, seriously, yes.
And not that that's not possible, but it's something you don't want to have to do.
All right, once you get your bolts back in here, you want to tighten them down. Kind of hard to see, but so you kind of want to get your bolts, the banjo bolts. Once you got them tightened down, you got to get the lines kind of out of the way because you're gonna want to take the fill plug out, and that's where we're gonna fill in the little reservoir tank. The size for that is a 5mm Allen. You want to make sure you get that right, and then once you get that out, then you just want to kind of keep working it out, and then the fluid we're gonna be using to fill it up is gonna be CHF11S. You want to make sure you use this type of fluid in here because if you use something else, you're going to damage your component. CHF11S. That's the type of fluid you need. All right, so after you get it out, this is what it looks like right here. Just set it aside, don't lose it. And then we're going to fill in. We're going to use a little squeeze bottle with a vacuum line attached to the end of it. That way, just so we can stick it into that hole down there because there's really no other way of doing this. And you also want to, in this filling process, you want to stuff a rag down there because for any drips that you get, you will get drips. This is impossible to do without getting drips. It'll pick up the dirty oil. Once we fill it up and we start to run the top back and forth, we're going to put a clean rag just to check for any leaking fluid. Here we go. You don't want to squeeze too hard because then your fluid is going to start coming out the top. Just little by little. Patience is key. And then once the fluid starts to leak out, you can assume that it's full enough to start to cycle the top. That way it goes into the lines and the rams. And this process, we're going to repeat maybe 2 or 3 times, depending on how much fluid the system needs and how much air bubbles are in the system. Because if you don't bleed the system and you leave air in the lines, the top's not going to work right. So you have to bleed the system. But running it forwards and backwards is part of the process of how to bleed it, and you'll get the air out of it. Just don't be surprised when it doesn't work first try because it more than likely will not. You got to get enough fluid in there to pressurize the system. All right, once you got your reservoir overflowing and you see the oil coming out, you want to get your drain plug. You want to make sure you have your copper crush washer on there. And then you want to set that back inside. It's a tight squeeze, but you kind of go, oh, there it goes. All right, once you got it back on there, you want to give it a final little snug with the Allen. That way it doesn't leak out when you're trying to run it. You don't want to over tighten this one either, just because these metals are really soft. So there's no need to over tighten them. Just like that's fine. And then once you got it the first time, once you got it to this point, you want to take the dirty rag out, put the clean rag, run it forwards and backwards. Actually, no, we're going to leave that rag in there, run it, and then change it out after the second time because we know we need to refill it again. Let's get everything out of the way and run this top.
All right, guys, Angel has gotten this ready. We are going to run the top in just a second. What that's going to do is get the pump going and start pushing the fluid through into the rams. Obviously, the rams are full of air, so are the lines right now. So one thing we do, because we don't want to have the engine running, it does take a lot of power to do this. We don't want to kill the battery, is we have it on charge right now, as you can see. If you're, working and you can have your garage door open, I would definitely have the engine running for this. Go ahead and remove your little brace. That's what we have up here, so that the convertible top can do its thing. Do you want to? You're okay, and I'll just start running it.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. We're going to start running it right now. Angel's going to help the top back and forth because the rams are full of air. You do not want to let it collapse all the way because it could shatter the glass. So you want to basically just assist the top, and we are going to have to refill the reservoir here a couple of times. So do you want me to go open or close?
Go open. It doesn't matter which direction.
All right, we're going to go open. You can hear the convertible top pump is complaining because it's full of air. I'm going to go back the other way. It's starting to fill the rams, as you can see, but it's going to run out, and we're going to have to refill the reservoir right now. Do you want me to get it back to the set position?
Yeah, go back a little more. All right, right there's good.
Right there.
Yeah.
So now what's happened is the hydraulic pump reservoir has run out of fluid. It's all into the rams, but there's still a mixture of air in there. So we're going to go ahead and refill the reservoir right now.
All right, so this is the second round of filling up the ram. Remove the drain plug again. Just gonna stick the line in there, hose, start going at it. It's a little bit more filled up than it was earlier because we ran it now and got about half. All right, once you get that in there, wanna look out for it leaking out. Start filling it in, squeeze the bottle slowly. And once you start seeing the fluid, there you go, like that. Let it breathe, get the air bubbles out, squeeze some more. Oh, it's coming out. That might be it right there. All right, we'll call it good right there because it's coming out every single squeeze now. So then same thing as earlier, pull it out, put the plug back in, clean up your area that you're working on. And then, except for this time around, what we're going to do, we're going to take out the dirty rag. Once I got it all clean, the bowl back in there, we're going to put a fresh rag down there to check for leaks. And then we're going to run it again, see how it sounds, see how it feels. And then check it one last time, add a little more just in case it needs it. If not, then we're done. And all right, here we go. All right, so before we run it this next time, we're gonna take this dirty rag out just to put a clean one in there so we can check for leaks. You just want to slowly take it out. You don't want to rip anything out that shouldn't be ripped out. Yeah, so you can see the reservoir right there, the little fluid line. As you can barely see it, but it's visible. Definitely needs more fluid from right there at that point. So when you see it that low, keep going and then
Fill it to the top.
Fill it to the top and then run it and then repeat.
All right, guys, so this is round 2. We went ahead and refilled the reservoir in there. Normally, we find we have to do this about 3 times before the reservoir will stay full and push all the air out of the rams. Here we go. Gonna go backwards with it?
Yep, let's go backwards. Sounds better already.
Yep.
There
it does.
Yeah, look at that. All right.
So as you can hear, the pump is not moaning quite as much as it was before, and it's actually starting to work. You can hear there's still
air in the system.
But that's all right. You can see it completed a full cycle, so we are in good shape. We should probably, you can definitely hear air in it. We'll need to fill it one more time for sure. Keep on going backwards.
Yeah, take it all the way back.
And it's not dropping.
Nope, it's not dropping, so that's a good sign.
Completing the cycle, which is good.
Yep.
Going back up. And you see why you would want to plug the battery on charge, because obviously this does use a lot of power.
Cool.
All right. Okay, guys, so we're going to go ahead and just top this off. This will be the 3rd time that we're filling it up. But as you can see from the fill line, that the reservoir is almost completely full, which is great news for us. That was obviously the 2nd completion of the cycles we ran on the top. So we're just going to quickly top it off, and then that's going to be good. And the other good news is it looks like we do not have any leaks.
All right, so I got the fresh towel set up in there. There's no drips, no fluid down there, nothing. I got my light set up just to make sure I can see what's going on as we run the top for the final time. And here we go, and then we're going to check it one last time for leaks, and it should be good.
Absolutely, yeah. After we run it this time, we're literally going to be ready to stitch it all up, but we are going to pull that towel up, hold it up to the light, and check for drips. Here we go. Heading backwards?
Backwards.
Here we go. Beautiful. That sounds great.
It does.
All right, going up. Mind your fingers. Stand clear of the gap. Perfect. One more time?
One more time.
Here we go. So by the time we're done, we'll have run this thing probably 10 times?
Yeah, something like that.
That sounds great. That sounds absolutely great. You can hear now that all the bubbles have come out and the hydraulic pump is working properly. That's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
That's perfect. All right, back to service.
Back to service.
Back to service. We're putting it back to service. This is a moment of truth. We're going to pull the rag out and check for drips. So we got a drip.
Got a drip.
See right there? So this is good. This is good. We're capturing this on film, because if you see anything like that, it means you've got a leak, and we're going to have to go in there and just tighten up, re-dry everything off. We'll run it again a couple more times. What we want to have is a completely, perfectly dry and drip-free rag before we put the vehicle back together completely and get handed off to the customer. It's good that this is happening. All right, guys, we've got a brand new rag here, right out of the bag, spotlessly clean. Everything in here now is being cleaned up and dried off, so I'm gonna put this rag underneath the pump and underneath the hoses, and we're gonna check one more time for drips and leaks. The way we're gonna do that is run the convertible top back and forth several times, and hopefully this is the last time. We did go ahead and tighten these nuts up just a tiny little bit. Obviously, we don't want to go mad with this because it is an aluminum block, and we don't want to strip them. All right. Okay, guys, so we ran the top again after cleaning it up and tightening the little bolts a little bit. I think we ran it about 4 times, and we're just going to pull it out now, and we're going to look for any drips whatsoever. So that's a piece of fuzz, but as you can see, this thing should be spotlessly clean. Not a single drip anywhere. More fuzz. But yeah, that's what we're looking for, guys. You want to put a clean rag in, and you want to get a perfectly clean rag back out. So that means this thing's good to go. We're going to stitch it up completely and get it out of here. The customer's going to be really happy with this. Okay, guys, we are putting the carpet back in. Pretty easy to stuff this back in. You just want to make sure it's lipped under everything. One thing on these Porsche 911s, the 996, is this flap here. This thing is really, really important. It needs to basically move up and down. If this is broken, you really don't want to do anything with the convertible top until you replace it, because it can put a hole in the canvas. What happens as the canvas comes down, basically this stops it from hanging over the latch. If this flap is gone, the canvas can hang over the latch, and the latch can literally, you see this little blade here, can force its way through the canvas when the latch closes, and it'll damage the top. So this part, it doesn't look like much, but it's incredibly important. As you can see, we're pretty much done with this. Angel's just stitching up the last part of the carpet there. There's going to be like 4 little plastic studs that go in there. Remember to drop the glass back down and lock these into their little studs. They just push, they're little push clip-ons. Thanks for watching the video. If you have any problems, go ahead and call us. We rebuild these Rams, and we put a lifetime guarantee on them. The other thing I want to quickly plug is we do the window regulators. People ship us these rear and front window regulators all the time. We do rebuild those with metal parts. We're the only company that does that. So they'll never break again, and we also put a lifetime guarantee on those too. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.